Hey there, awesome RC fan. Thanks for stopping by. I'm so glad you're here with us today. Last time on the channel, we took the trucks out, had an awesome winter adventure. While we were out there though, I noticed that the trucks were struggling a little bit with the white powdery stuff. So I thought this week, let's see if we can improve on the traction for these guys by whipping up some homemade snow chains. So today, I'm going to cover how I put these together and how you might be able to put some together for yourself. Before we jump into that though, just let me say thank you. If you're a returning subscriber, I really appreciate this support. And if you've never been here before, I hope you give us a shot and enjoy what you find. And with that, let's head over to the bench and get started. Alright, so let me show you where I started. So what I started with was this small 3/16 inch galvanized chain. Typically this would be used for like holding up shop lights or something like that in a shop. Once I had the chain, the next thing I needed to do was to figure out how wide of a strip of chain that I wanted to have across the top of the tire. I wanted it to come down most of the way on the sidewall on each side. So for this particular size chain and these tires, these are stock Redcat Gen 7 tires. So if your tires are a different size, you're going to need to figure out your own number of links. 7 was the magic number of links that I discovered. After figuring out length of chain that I would need to go across the top, I decided to go with 6 strips of chain across the top of the tire around the edge. So that means that I needed to take and get 6 strips of chain that were 7 links long. I have 2 tires left. I pre-measured out 6 strips for each of the 2 remaining tires that I don't have done yet. The next thing I needed to do was to figure out how many links it would take to make the inner loop on the back side of the tire. The magic number for me is 15. Again, if you have different size tires, you're going to end up with a different number of chain links. May not be the same, just keep that in mind. It's going to take some trial and error. So before we can even play with the tire, we start out by getting our loop of 15 links, and then since we're going with 6 links across the tire, we need to make sure that we evenly space them around this ring that's going to be on the back side of the tire. Because I've done the math, I have 6 of these. There's 15 links, and that means there's 30 of these small loops. So every 5 loops, I'm going to hang one of these. So you just pinch it shut with the pliers. We count out our 5 loops. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we crimp this one shut. Count out 5 again. And we repeat this process around. And we'll do that until we get all the way around. Them aligned perfectly then. Come on, fingers. So then we're left with this star-shaped piece. Now, this is going to get centered over the back. If you're using different tires, this next part is going to be different. Because I went with 6 strips of chain across the tire lugs, every 4th lug I have a chain. We're going to just flip this over. And so, for this next part, to finish off the front, I'm just using thin gauge rubber coated wire. It's pretty sturdy, but yet thin and flexible. So I will be using that to stitch the pieces together and hug them tight on the face of the tire. I just need to measure approximately twice around so I can get a nice good cinch. That looks good. I'm just going to start slowly stitching the chain up on the front here. And as we get it together, we'll be able to refine how the pieces line up. Once we get it partially together, then we can go back through, make sure that it's mostly centered on the back side here. And now we're going to take the second loop and we're going to make another pass around until we get the wires back towards each other here. Now we can just kind of just bend that to the side a little bit just to hold it temporarily as we make sure that it's all mostly centered. The back looks pretty good as far as being centered. So now we just need to give these an extra snug. Now you don't want to pull it so tight that it like crushes down the side of the tire. You do want to get it snug though, because you don't want the chain to be able to just roll across the lugs. And you want to be careful that you don't end up pointing your wire into the tire, because you don't want that wire to accidentally stab a hole in your tire. That would kind of stink. So we are going to, I need a little bit more overhang than that, so I'm going to shuffle this wire around just a little. There we go. Now I got them both. That's why you want to make sure you have enough extra wire to make the 2 loops. Or if you use a heavier gauge wire, 1 would probably be fine. But because this is so thin, I decided that I wanted to do 2, just to make sure that I would have enough strength. So however you decide you want to wind this wire up to get it out of the way and to create a solid anchor, completely up to you. I feel a little bit better. Nice tight wrap. There we go. Just a little shuffling around to work the loose spots out. There you go. Simple, do-it-yourself tire chains. I think it's pretty sturdy. It doesn't add a ton of weight. I had originally thought about putting more chains across the tire, so I thought we'll start simple with just 6 and we'll see how helpful that is. I do like having some rubber exposed and not just only chains touching, because if you're out crawling and there's icy spots, but then you get to dry area where you might have some dry rock or something, the chain is going to be slippery and not have any grip on the rock. So having some rubber to still be able to contact the rock, I think could be beneficial. This is a first for me, so I don't know. So I'm going to go off camera, finish the last one, and then get them mounted up on Orangey so you can see what it looks like. Well, I think that looks pretty good, and I can't wait to take it out and give it a shot this weekend. Hopefully the weather will be nice. We'll be able to get out and do some trailing this weekend. I can't wait to see how these chains help or hinder. We're gonna find out, and I'll make sure to record it and share it with you guys in the future. Let me know in the comments. Do you think these are gonna work? Do you think they're not gonna work? Do you think I could have done something different? And after watching me put these together, do you have any interest in putting some on yours? Thanks for being an awesome RC fan. I'm glad you were here with us today. Go have some fun with your RCs, or sit back and watch me have fun with mine.